Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jean Mensah, has debunked assertions that recent reported cases of electoral fraud during last year's referendum on the creation of 6 new regions will continue to play out in successive elections organized by the EC. Videos showing some electorates and EC officials allegedly engaging in electoral irregularities went viral, creating doubts about the credibility of the referenda. But Jean Mensah says the first major electoral exercise under her supervision has taught many lessons which will help to draw up new strategies to ensure a more credible election going forward. She was speaking at the 17th International Electoral Affairs Symposium organized by the International Center for Parliamentary Affairs here in Accra.
As most of you may be aware, all 3 of us were appointed to manage the affairs and operations of the Electoral Commission of Ghana just 5 months ago. Indeed, any ideas we envisaged of slowly settling in gave way to the realities on the ground, and we hit the ground running. I'm sure that if we had contacted any of you prior to our swearing in, you would have made the complexity of the office clear to us. So perhaps it's a good thing that we did not, as we may have declined the call to serve. So 5 months on, here we are, alive and kicking. It's been a busy and insightful journey so far. We already have had the experience of conducting a referendum. Just a month ago, we conducted a referendum to decide on whether or not to create 6 additional regions. The elections, which were largely successful, witnessed a majority of Ghanaians voting yes in favor of the creation of new regions. So now we are currently expanding our activities and structures to these new areas. Again, at the institutional level, we are reflecting on the lessons learned from the recent referendum as we prepare for district-level elections and another referendum in the last quarter of this year. We believe that the challenges and opportunities, experiences and lessons from these elections and referenda will adequately prepare us for our parliamentary and presidential elections in December next year. Distinguished guests, I am mindful of the fact that the tall order I have outlined is nothing new to any of you. For the EMBs gathered here, for the heads of the EMBs gathered here this morning, I'm sure you would say to us, this is the name of the game. Get on with it. And indeed, we are getting on with it. But we look also forward to sharing with you and to learning from your experiences during our side meetings in the coming days. I'd like to take a minute to discuss the importance of an electoral system. Distinguished guests, we all need no telling that the electoral process is the cornerstone of a democracy. Indeed, it is a midwife that births a democracy. It provides legitimacy to our leaders and democratic institutions, and therefore needs not only to be maintained, but more importantly, to be fortified. We are fortunate to have institutions like the International Center for Parliamentary Studies, which continue to provide a platform on which these processes can be strengthened and nurtured. It is of utmost importance that we continue to strengthen EMBs to ensure that citizens respect the processes that elect their leaders as being free, credible, and transparent. It is essential that political parties freely participate in the electoral process, and crucial that the right to citizens to express their preference is protected and guaranteed. We at the Electoral Commission of Ghana are committed to these ideals. Indeed, only recently we restored the founding principles and values of the Electoral Commission, namely transparency, fairness, and integrity, and we are determined to abide by these principles. This is a major concern to many electoral commissions, including the Electoral Commission of Ghana. And I think that for many of us advanced or developing countries, we are seeking to become independent. Therefore, to have development partners funding a part of your election compromises your independence. So we believe that, we should be looking at finding innovative ways of streamlining our processes whilst maintaining their effectiveness and their integrity. And we believe that through this, we would be able to lower the cost of our elections. I indicated, during my presentation that the cost of our elections, Ghanaian elections in 2016, was $12, a little over $12. That of Nigeria was a little over $9 per person. Sure. And in Tanzania, it was as low as $5. How can we learn from them? How can we streamline certain obsolete processes that will help reduce the cost of elections? And these are some of the things that we intend to do.
But would you say that, the credibility because of the cost also undermines, our elections?
Not at all. It doesn't. But what you realize is that there are layers. And I think it's to ensure credibility and to reduce suspicion. You find that we put in place or implement a lot of unnecessary initiatives, and this tends to increase the cost of our elections. So at the Electoral Commission, is one of the issues that we'll be looking at is how to streamline, how to audit our processes, and really make it more watertight, efficient, whilst reducing cost. I think value for money is at the heart of everything that we do. And it's not pleasant, it's not a good feeling to be labeled as, a commission that has very running costly elections.
So this is something. A drastic reduction in 2020.
Well, some reduction. I'm sure some reduction, and I'm sure that as we move on and go forward, we could reduce this further.
Now,